Hey, Fort Wainwright, Colonel Nate Surrey here, Garrison Commander. Welcome to July's Arctic Vibe. I'm currently sitting in a conference room at the Last Frontier Community Activity Center that is situated right behind our recently opened, I think in the last 2 to 3 months, indoor playground for our toddlers. We have one here that's to my right. It's all revamped, very, very popular. And then we have another one just through the double doors for a younger age group. So come out. It's good. You know, it's great for right now. We also have the Engineer Park playground we just opened up, which is behind the, where the youth sports area is. Again, 2 wonderful playgrounds that have been opened up for the community. This will be a lot more fitting for the winter time. Here in about, well, it's winter's coming. You'll blink and it's here. So starting about October, we'll be a lot more families in here. But come take advantage of it. It's wonderful and it's free for the families. Some of the things we're going to go over in our Arctic Vibe here is we're going to talk about Seward Military Resort. That is not a well-known opportunity for our families and soldiers. Seward is absolutely gorgeous. It's the Kenai Peninsula, and the 2 main areas you'll hear down there is Homer and Seward. Either one of them beautiful, but the advantage of Seward is we have our own military resort there, and we'll get into a lot more about that later. But I highly encourage you, before you leave this state, to go check out Seward Military Resort. We're also going to talk about the World Eskimo and India Olympics. It's called WEIO. It's downtown Fairbanks. We'll get into a lot more about that. But again, you will not experience that anywhere else in Alaska, or actually in the United States, except here in Fairbanks, Alaska. So again, one of those cultural things you want to take advantage of. And then we're also going to talk about fire mitigation program that we have with the Alaska Fire Service, and just in general some things that you all can do to help prevent fires up here. The next hot topic is National Night Out. Again, we do this annually in the summer, July 25th, 5 to 8 p.m. at the North Haven Community Center. This is all hands on deck. Every agency pretty much on post will be there. Here's the kicker: free hot dogs, free hamburgers, drinks, and desserts, all provided by North Haven. Come out. I mean, that right there, you feed your family, so why not? We got balloon artists, sack races, a dunk take, bouncy houses, just ton of fun for the kids and families. And then we'll have all of our agencies out there with different booths and displays from our Department of Emergency Service, again, the fire department, police, our USO, Doyon Utilities, Army Community Service, our Ed Center, safety, you name it, they'll be there. So always a big event. We usually have 600 people or more show up. So come out and enjoy that free time with the community. Next top topic is traffic flow. One addition to construction that's going to happen this summer is Meridian Road, August 15th to September 9th. We will make sure we put this out on Facebook, on alerts on Garrison app. That's a decent amount of time, almost a month, where Meridian Road is going to have to shut down. That's what joins Gaffney to Montgomery. The detour is simple. You can either be on the other side of the airfield if you're on the east side of Post, or 10th Street that runs by Bassett. You'll just have to turn there to hit Montgomery Road from there. A little bit of a pain, but it has to be done because Doyon Utilities has got to go underground to do some corridor work, and it has to shut down the road to do that. And that's very important because it keeps our post heated and electrified, wastewater and regular water. So again, apologize in advance for that. But that's the only major on-post construction that's really going to affect the community. We do have a couple other ones, Old Badger Road that was announced previously, and the road by the golf course that goes back over the Bailey Bridge, I believe it is. But those aren't as big as an impact. So again, apologize in advance for that. We're now going to transfer to our first interview with the Department of Transportation. Welcome back, Fort Wainwright. I'm here with John Pearl, part of the Department of Transportation for Alaska. He's actually the public affairs officer for them. And today we're going to talk about the near and dear to many people's heart is the GARS intersection. That is Gaffney Airport, Richardson, and Steese. If you remember last year, we had to close it a few times, and we had a 1-week closure. A lot of construction going on last year. This year, there's still construction, a little bit less, but unfortunately, we have to close it down for I guess the total would be 8 or 9 days That includes two weekends. And those dates will be from the 5th of August to the 13th of August. That's a Saturday to Sunday. So 5 work days in between. The main gate or Gaffney Gate will be shut down completely, no entry or exit. To be clear on this, what we're doing to help out is Trainer and Montgomery Gate will go to 24 hours while main gate's closed. That's what we did last year. And the visitor center will relocate to Montgomery Gate. So if you remember it last year, no different. Unfortunately, I cannot open Southgate because we also have construction on from DOT on the Richardson Highway, and because of those one-lane, crunch, and it's no longer 2 ways. There's yielding from Southgate onto Richardson Gate this summer is too dangerous. We've looked at that both with DOT, AST, Alaska State Troopers, and the DS, and so we cannot open Southgate. I apologize in advance. So I asked the public to plan accordingly based off your traffic. There'll be multiple notifications via Facebook, via the Garrison app for alerts, letting you know ahead of time. It's about a little over a month away when we have to close that. We timed this with 111's block leave on purpose because in theory, there's not much PT going on in the mornings. The rush hour and traffic in the morning and in the evening should be greatly reduced because the majority of a 111 will be on block leave. So that was, appreciate you, John, your team allowing us to put that closure in a low traffic time for us. But just so you're tracking, that is the case. Now, to get into so what behind this, I just asked John a minute ago off the video is, hey, I'm even confused, and many people are, when we pull up into the, depending on what direction we're going, what turn lane does what because it changed. Well, the improvements you're doing during this closure will help with that. So just let us know what that is.
Right. Well, and first we know that having the intersection, especially such a big intersection as GAR's closed, is a tremendous impediment to everybody's travel through there. And we appreciate your patience and willingness to work with us. We're going to try and get this work done as fast as we can. And ideally, this is the end of putting in the major work. We're going to have the intersection open in the new configuration on Monday morning, August 14th for people coming through to work. And I know that when people are driving through and they're seeing all these lanes that aren't being used right now, that's because we've got it in the old configuration. So what's the work we're doing? We're getting all the lights up, we're getting the signs up, we're closing the temporary lanes, we're opening the permanent lanes. So as people go through on that Monday morning, everything should be set up, the lights will be timed, the signs will be appropriate, and everybody should be able to see what's going on. The idea behind this whole thing is to help people get to work, get through that intersection faster. It was a really congested intersection. I know people had to wait, especially in the evening commute, so 2, sometimes 3 light cycles before they can get through. Now, I know you guys are in the Army, you love a good acronym. So this is a CFI MUT intersection, a continuous flow intersection with a modified U-turn. That continuous flow is, I think, what people are really going to want to see. They're going to want to see the fact they can continue to go through. So one of the reasons that it's held up right now is that you got to let the left turns cross, and there's a lot of people turning left to get into Main Gate. There's a lot of people turning left to get a northbound, southbound Stevenson-Richardson. And what's going to happen now is that people will be able to turn left while bypass traffic is going through the intersection. And so that'll reduce the amount of time that people have to wait at lights. And the people coming up to the intersection should still continue to see, easy to understand directions. Left turns, you're going to want to be in the left lane. Right turns, you're going to want to be in the right lane. If you're going straight, stay in the middle. From a driver's perspective, it should make easy sense. As you approach the main gate from any direction, if you're going straight from airport, you'll still go straight. If you're coming up the Richardson, you're still going to make that easy right. So the only difference that people will take is if turning left into that. And so turning left from the Steese, you're going to go forward. You're actually going to go past the center point of the intersection, and then you'll take the left after you get past that. And so people might get a little confused that first time and say, hey, isn't that the main gate I'm supposed to be headed to? But that turn is going to come afterwards. And what that does is it lets the cross traffic continue to flow, and then you'll take your left afterwards in a separate signaled thing while the traffic is now going the other way. So these have been used in several places. This isn't a brand new idea. What we've done is we've taken ideas from other places, even ones that have proper winters. So we know it works when there's covered in snow. We did think about that. And people will be able to make those. It's a priority one for snow clearance. And we've got a high traction asphalt in some of those turn areas for, if people are confused and making kind of sudden changes at the end there, that's going to have extra traction, extra clearance. And we're trying our best to make sure that people can understand what's happening, and it'll become like riding a bicycle in no time. People will understand it real quick. I know you guys got smart folks here, and they're going to do great.
The good news is on 14 August, we have the rest of the summer and early fall to figure all this out before the ice and snow comes.
Absolutely,
And
plenty of daylight.
And you'll have signs up high for the winter because everything on the ground will be covered. And then in the summer you can see the markings on the road and you can look up. So this is good. I'm excited. One thing I want to say to the public though is it's not just Main Gate that's closed during this week. The Steese Airport traffic, right, is also going to be impeded. And I think what you said is the only thing you'll be able to do during this week is take a right turn off of Airport going south on the Richardson.
That's correct. The entire intersection will be closed because we've got new traffic lights to stand up, and we're going to close temporary lanes and open the permanent ones. And we've got those overhead signs and everything else to put up as well. So yeah, the entire intersection will be closed for all traffic, not just coming in and out of the gate.
Right, so if you're traveling outside base and you're used to just coming up the Steese one way or the other to get the south side or north side of town on the east side of town, I know there's a lot of directions there, but you'll have to navigate through the city.
That's absolutely right. We'll have detours lined out, and we've got traffic control plans all set up. And like you said, 2 weekends, 1 week of work. We're hoping to get this done as quick as we can, and we know that everybody's had to endure 2 years of getting this thing set up. But nobody likes construction when it's happening. Everybody likes a brand new road.
Well, appreciate it very much, all the work you guys are doing, and understand your timelines are very constricted up here in Alaska. It's basically 4.5 months, and that's all we got to do road construction. So thanks for what you're doing. And you'll be working 24 hours around the clock during that closure, which is pretty impressive.
That's the benefit of working in the subarctic. You only got 4.5 months, but you can work 24 hours a day.
Well, hey, thanks so much, John. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for patience and appreciate your help.
Absolutely. All right, welcome back, team. Privileged to have Rick Bosch, our MWR, actually it's Director of Family, Morale, and Welfare and Recreation. Did I get that right?
Correct,
it's a
sir.
mouthful. He has one of the larger responsibilities on this space. So if anything from the library to the golf course, the ski hill in the winter, our gyms, our outdoor rec, and the list goes on and on and on. That's Rick's portfolio. As I always do with MWR, I'm going to do a marketing campaign right now. If you need a job, that's your guy. CYS is my number one concern though, because we have the CDC 3 opening up next June, and by itself, is 88 direct care employees to run that. And to put that in perspective, right now, in the other CDCs combined, I'm under 70. So we have to over double what we need to get all these CDCs running. The infrastructure's coming, the Army's given that. Now we need more of our community to come help us out. We have the best incentives in the entire Army for our child caregivers. So please come up and help us out. All right, I took a lot of steam from you, but now I'd like to ask you, so what is going on with MWR this summer?
Yeah, sir, summer is a really exciting time for MWR. That is when we are peak staff and peak programming because everything in Alaska is an option for us. One of the things that we try to do during this time of year is get folks out. So our Warrior Adventure Quest program, that is support in the units, is in overdrive. We've got the soldiers out doing paintball, whitewater rafting, hiking trips. Outdoor rec in general is peak programming, and really their job this time of year is to get you outside the gates into every nook and cranny in Alaska and explore everything this beautiful state has to offer. For those of you who have the golf bug, this is one of the few golf courses in the world you can tee off any time of day or night. What our season pass holders know is if you're a season pass holder and you don't mind getting some exercise and walking, you could go out there at 1 a.m. on a Saturday night and play 18 holes with maybe 2 other people on the course. If you're not a golfer yet, lower enlisted, we got the free club rentals, we got a golf instructor there, and just get you out and just enjoy some fresh air. Those folks that have not been on the golf course, maybe have only eaten at the restaurant, it's one of the most beautiful pieces of property we have. It follows the contour of the river down there. CYS programming, you know, with the outside options, they're doing festivals. SAC's got their full day camps with, you know, different activities every week. But one of the most exciting things that happens under MWR, U.S. Army Garrison, Alaska, is not inside our gates. It is offset a few hundred miles away, and it's one of the hidden jewels in the Army. It is Seward Military Resort, which for over 20 years, once the Army footprint sunset, instead of the government giving one of the most beautiful plots of land back, decided to convert it into a resort supporting the soldiers primarily. A lot of retirees use it and some of the civilians, and I would love to tune in the Seward team to give an update of what's happening down there on the peninsula.
All right, so we're gonna call Jewel?
Absolutely.
All right. Hey Jewel, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Hey, I want to introduce Jewel Williams. She is our director at Seward Military Resort. Jewel, tell us about the resort and the accommodations you have and the opportunities that are presented down there at Seward.
Sure. So the resort, we have motel rooms, townhouses, RV sites, tent sites, yurts. We have just a little bit of everything as far as accommodations go. Townhouses are more like little apartments, so those are our family styles. And then our motel rooms are just like a typical motel room, 2 double beds, private bath. Our RV sites, we have 40 RV sites. And then our yurts, yurts are, you can go camping without having to bring a tent. The yurt is no electricity or heat, but it has 3 cots and a table and chairs in it, so you can just bring your camping gear without having to bring a tent. And people love those.
And they also, and you may have already said it, I may have missed it, but if you stay in any of those, you have fully functional, and they're clean, bathrooms and showers, and also laundry down there. That's all.
Yes, we have a state-of-the-art restroom, shower, and laundry facility for the use of our tenters, RV site people, and the yurts.
Yeah, it's truly amazing down there. It's small. It probably sits on, I'm guessing, about 8 acres, something like that, maybe 6 total.
Actually 11.
It's 11 acres. Okay, I was somewhere in the ballpark, but it's so nice. And I want to shift gears to the next point. So the accommodations are wonderful, and I'll talk about those in a minute on my experience. But now let's talk about, you know, some of the opportunities in the Seward proper area that you can help facilitate, and how those prices work and the reservations and all that.
Yeah, so we offer discounted tickets for just about everything in the Seward area, from charter fishing to horseback riding, helicopter tours, ice climbing, wildlife and glacier cruises, you name it, we pretty much sell tickets for it. And the cost to the customer is between 10 and 20% less than if you purchased it through the company itself. So we're saving the military members some money every time they book through us for any of those tickets and tours.
And it's so simple too, as I've done multiple times. You call down there to the main number, which will flash up here. When you get to the front desk, they'll just push you through to our reservations team, and they'll walk you through all this. And it's pretty seamless. And then they send you a receipt via whatever email you give them. It's very easy to do. Same thing with the rooms. Yeah, I mean, you can't ask for any better. And then not only that, but if you book with one of the fishing charters that we work with, you have the capability, which I experienced this summer. They bring all the fish to what they call the J dock. That's where all the charters come back to. There's full service there, fish cleaning and shipping via J dock. However, if you want to save some serious money, and I highly recommend this, is you bring the fish back. They flay it for you from the deckhands from the boat. That's included in the whole charter fees. But then they put it in some garbage bags for you, clean ones, of course. You bring them straight back to the Seward Military Resort, and you can do everything there, which is really just chop it up into smaller sections, put it in the vacuum seal bags, vacuum seal them, and then after that, you provide the freezer boxes if you want to ship them, and I think it's 50% cheaper to ship them via your contract. Is that right?
That is correct. It's about 50% cheaper to ship through us FedEx overnight than it is if you went directly to FedEx.
Which is what you would get if you did it through the JDoc folks there on the base itself. Or like what I did, because I drove down and back, is I was able to take my fish, put it in my own cooler, and if you're staying at the resort, you take the fish. They have huge deep freezers there. It's free as long as you're still on the base to keep your fish there, freeze them, deep freeze them over, several nights or whatever. And then, or you can just put them on ice, your choice, and then you take them back with you the day you drive. It's a phenomenal operation. I can't overstate how well this resort is set up. We get nothing but positive comments from the team down there, Jewel. I can't say enough about you, and a lot of soldiers don't even know about it. Now, let's talk this too. So one of the changes we made this year, and it'll be even more so next year, is that we have an initiative where we have blocked off rooms for our currently serving soldiers. In years past, what would happen is reservations open up 365 days prior to the dates you want to hit ground. And rightfully so, but because we want the business, but our retirees, population, they're the ones who like to use it the most. But they were booking up all the rooms early, right? Well, what we've done now is block those off, and there's more opportunities for active duty soldiers to call. Take advantage of this is what I'm telling the soldiers. We've made it easier for you. The prices are better than anything you're going to see in the local community.
Having those active duty rooms so that soldiers can call, a few days, they get a little bit of leave that they didn't know they were getting, they can call down here and get a room. Has been very well received so far.
That's great news, and that was an initiative from our commanding general that, that's why they pay him the big bucks to think outside the box, and we were able to pull it off, and it's awesome. Another thing, you have a full food and beverage down there, and adult beverages, bar right on the base, which is nice too. There's a nice conference room down there that if you wanted to call Jewel and do some type of retreat down there, whether it's strong bonds or something else unit funded, that happens a lot with other organizations. The Coast Guard and others will call her up, and it's year round. Now they do shut down some of the property because they just don't have the throughput during the winter. But if you want to go down there and do snowmobiling or whatever, they can, and you call in advance and you have a big enough party, they will do the legwork to open up a bigger block of rooms, right, Jewel?
Absolutely, yes. And that's our biggest area for growth. We look forward to hosting conferences, so we will do catering. We'll do whatever we need to do to get those conferences here. So we look forward to those.
Absolutely. All right, Rick, do you have anything else?
No, I'm just excited. Our team at Seward is so knowledgeable about everything down there. That team, the core of it has been intact for so many years, and that's a big reason why we can offer these programs at such a discount to our military community, because we forged relationships with everybody on the peninsula, and we intend to keep these long-standing relationships. I do want to echo what Jewel and you were sharing, is even though the summer is our busiest season, the biggest opportunity is in the off-season, the early spring, the fall, the winter, to meet your family from the lower 48, to bring a unit down. We got plenty of room. We've got an infrastructure to support not just R&R functions, but actual mission functions in a very secluded environment, and to mix that with an ice climbing trip and snow machine trip and exploring the peninsula in the winter, I think is an opportunity for growth that a lot of people forget about. Good chance to get out of Fairbanks and get a change of scenery. It's just as exciting in the winter as the summer.
No, 100%, and they get a little more snow down there too. So Can't overstate how amazing this resort is, but you have to see it with your own eyes. So just trust all of us. Ask your buddies that have been down there. The boss, Better Opportunities for Single Soldiers, teamed up with ASYMCA this year, and this happens every year. But there's a combat fishing tournament, which is where many of the charters, almost all of them in Seward, donate their boat, everything for free. So that's something for single soldiers or Geo Bachelor soldiers next year. Well, any soldier E5 and below, really. But BOSS can help offset some of the funds. So if you're interested in doing a near free, over $1,000 trip next year, if you're one of those younger soldiers, get with the BOSS rep. And usually early April is when all of that opens up. And they will walk you through it. So you get a free charter bus down there, very reduced rate, if not almost completely free, a room. I think this year it cost $108 for the soldier to do everything. That's to get down there, stay in a room for a couple nights, do fishing that normally costs, upwards of $400 after tip and stuff, and they ship your fish back for free.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get that opportunity anywhere else in the world. So I throw that out there too for next year if it catches anybody's eyes. The only stipulation there is, if you want to sign up for the ASYMC portion, not the BOSS side, is you cannot have done it before. Because it's so popular, you get to do it one time on your tour. So if you've done it previously, you can still go down, but you have to pay your own way kind of thing. Well, Jewel, go ahead.
Yeah, to that, the largest fish caught for the Armed Services combat fishing tournament was one of the boats that we booked for. So you can book and get on that boat. They're the winner of the combat fishing tournament.
Outstanding. You know how big that fish was?
I think it was 180.
180-pound halibut.
Yep.
That's amazing. So you just imagine, that's the size of me, basically. That's a big fish. And that'll feed you for quite some time, pretty much a whole year. Well, thanks, Jewel. I appreciate everything you do down there and look forward to seeing you again here in a few weeks.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, sir. You guys have a great day.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Okay, Fort Wainwright, welcome back. With a special privilege today to welcome Gina Cowlick, who's a member of the World Eskimo Indian Olympics Board of Governors, used to be the chair, but this is an annual event we do in Fairbanks, and it's very, very special and unique to our community for the entire United States. So welcome, Gina.
Thank you.
This is a great opportunity for our community to get out and experience something that you will not see again. So we'll start off with, what's the history of the Olympics?
Well, the history goes back before, time immemorial. These are events, games that were played in the villages in Alaska far back in, eons. And so they've stayed being passed down from generation to generation. But the history of WEIO, the World Eskimo Indian Olympics here in Fairbanks, that event starts in 1961 when some gentlemen who traveled out as pilots into the rural communities were able to see these events and thought that it would be a wonderful thing for them to be brought into the cities, and so that other people could know they exist, see what they're like, and learn more about the native cultures in Alaska. So in 1961, as part of the Golden Days celebration, the World Eskimo Indian Olympics was born here in Fairbanks and has been here ever since.
And so when we say world, I mean, the competitors come in from other states, countries?
We've had competitors from Canada a lot. They share the same games as us. And surprisingly, Greenland and Siberia, they also share some of these games, and we've had competitors from there as well. We get competitors from the lower 48. To be eligible to participate in our events, you need to have a blood quantum, a 16th of indigenous to the Americas, which North and South America, and we include our Pacific Islander cousins who are in American territories, and Canada and the circumpolar north, really.
Wow, that's incredible. So what are some of the events that happen at this competition?
All of the events come from activities that have to do with your ability to survive in this environment, in the Arctic and the subarctic, in a subsistence lifestyle. So there's strength events because you have to be strong. There's events that require concentration because you have to be able to have that mental fitness. There's events that require agility because you have to use your whole body when you're living a subsistence hunter-gatherer lifestyle. And games that are just for fun, you know, something to do in the wintertime to make people laugh. Games that also test your endurance to pain, because you can get hurt and you can't just stay there, and an ambulance isn't going to come if you're in the wilderness in Alaska. So you have to work through the pain to get to where you can get help. So all of those things, there's different games that test all of those abilities and strengths.
Wow, I know my favorite event is the ball kick.
And I brought a kickball with me today.
Yeah. They hang it from a rope, right?
From a string on a kickstand, and this is the kicking events, or a ball like this. At our event we use sealskin. This is calf skin, but this shows you the type of ball that we have, and it's just suspended at different heights, and there are different kicking games that go along with a ball like this. There's the Alaskan high kick, where the person starts off on the floor, balances on one hand and one foot, kicks with that foot, the foot that they're balanced on, and lands only on that foot, maintaining balance.
Wow.
And the men go over 7 feet doing that. And then there's the 2-foot high kick, where you jump off both feet, hit the target with both feet parallel, and land only on your feet and maintain balance. And the men go over 8 feet, the ladies go right around, I think 6'6". I think 6'6" is the record for that. The 1-foot high kick, which is a kind of our premier event, this year we'll be doing Canadian style, so they'll be going over 9 feet.
Wow.
And they jump off both feet, kick with 1 foot, and land only on the foot that they used for the kick. So if you can picture a basketball rim, they're kicking that high and hitting the target and maintaining their balance when they land on 1 foot.
That's incredible. Yeah, I mean, so I will tell you, if you haven't seen this, you have to come out and watch this event. It is quite amazing. You know, similar to gymnastics, ice skating, a lot of those type things, or like you said, strength and agility. I'm interested to see what you mean by the pain tolerance one.
Well, there's the always popular ear pull.
Oh, that's
where
right.
a braided sinew is looped around the competitor's ears, right ear to right ear, left ear to left ear, and without turning your head to help your cheek with the pull, you pull straight back until your competitor gives up, or until the sinew comes off of their ear.
Comes off?
Yeah, and that comes from having to deal with frostbite. We're in Alaska, right? So it has to do with the pain of frostbite and being able to endure that pain while you keep moving and keep, you know, getting to where you can get more help, because you can't just depend on someone to come find you. You have to work through the pain.
Well, that alone, that description should entice a lot of folks to come watch, because that's I remember seeing it, but it was from a distance, so I didn't really understand. So I'm going to try to get down closer this year. So when is the competitions this year?
This year is July 12th to the 15th at the Big Dipper Ice Arena. They melt the ice in the next couple of weeks, and then we'll be down on the floor. It'll turn into a competition floor. We have a portable gym floor, so they'll be on a wooden gym floor. Some of the events, like during the day, are free of charge. They're mostly in the back of the building, outdoors in the sunshine, we hope. If there's no sunshine, we have some tents set up. And so those are free to the public from 10 in the morning until about 2 or 3 in the afternoon. We also have dancers that come from the rural communities, or from Anchorage, or from here in Fairbanks, and there's different native dance groups that will be dancing in the evening, during the evening events. And there's also one of the largest arts and crafts bazaars, native arts and crafts bazaars in the state. And so that happens all during the day. We have quite a few of our vendors are there, but in the evening, all of our vendors are there. And there'd be like 60 tables of Alaska Native, or even stateside, some have some stateside guests, Native crafts and artwork.
And then there's a small fee to get in the evenings, is that right?
There's, on our webpage, weio.org, you'll see there's a page that shows our prices. We do have family packages, and so there's the opportunity to bring your family of 4 for a lower price.
Yeah.
Or you can buy a season ticket for a lower price. The daily admission for the evening events is $15 for adults and $10 for children and seniors.
Pretty sure it all goes back for a good cause. This is a great event.
It keeps WEIO going into, I mean, we're in our 62nd year, I believe, and it's been here in Fairbanks that long, and we intend to keep it that long, and it helps us pass down skills and activities to the next generation, and we have lots of young athletes who are taking advantage of that and will be at our event next month.
Awesome. You have anything else you want to add?
Want to try the stick pull, Dana
Sure.
stick pull?
How we
When
do it?
this is done in competition, it's covered with Crisco. They used to use fish. They used to use fish grease or fish oil. I mean, fish slime.
Sure.
That's the word, slime. And this is just to see how good your grip is if you're taking a fish out of the fish net or out of the fish wheel basket.
Okay.
So what happens is it's covered, like I said, it's covered with slime, and the competitors go
Like this?
straight on, and then it's just a free-for-all. And you're in a standing position, and no holds barred, you can't re-grip, and you can't lose your balance.
Wow. And so we just start pulling.
So you would just start
And
pulling,
she's
and you
gonna
can
embarrass
jerk,
me.
and you can twist, and you can... And
That's awesome.
That's one of our strength and skill events.
but that's-
because dealing
I
with,
mean-
imagine that covered with Crisco.
Yes. Like, how do they hold it?
They do. I'm not very good at that game, and I probably should be because I am Dana, but yeah.
That's incredible. Like,
Actually, it seems to me watching it, the smaller the hand,
yeah.
the advantage, because your whole hand
Yeah, I could see that.
can grip, and you don't have to like try to fit all your fingers on there.
Oh, I can't even imagine that with Crisco on it. Well, awesome. I appreciate you coming in today, and I hope the community listens to this and takes advantage because, again, it's all about our indigenous culture. And I think you'd be quite amazed at, I mean, I am already just these events I didn't see last time. So
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing everybody out there.
And
Thank you.
everyone is welcome to come and ask questions, and we're more than happy to explain things to you. We love sharing our culture.
Outstanding. Thanks, Gina. Appreciate it. So stay tuned for a video now on ATV and boating opportunities at our outdoor rec.
Hi, my name's Joe Woodrum, and I teach the boater safety class at Outdoor Rec here on Fort Wainwright. I just want to cover a few basics of what you need to do in order to rent a boat out here. First thing is you have to go through the boater safety course, and there's two sections to that. One is you got to do the online portion, and the other is you will have to come in and do the river portion. Once you do the online, bring the certificate in, show it to me, and then we'll get yourself scheduled for a on-river section of it, and we'll get going from there. After you complete it, you'll get a boater safety card, and you'll be able to rent our boats.
Hi, I'm Cassie here at Outdoor Recreation, and I am one of the ATV safety instructors. If you've ever been interested in renting one of our ATVs or going on one of our ATV trips, the first thing you're going to want to do is go through our ATV safety course. This is a two-part course, with the first part being online. After you've completed that, the next part is the in-person portion of the course, where you get to actually ride one of our ATVs. We're going to teach you a bunch of different skills on the ATV and how to get through certain obstacles that you may encounter when you're out and about on the trails. Once you've completed both parts, you will receive your ATV safety certification card, which is essentially good for forever. The class itself does cost $65, but $50 of that does go towards your first trip or your first rental, whatever you prefer.
All right, good afternoon, Fort Wainwright. How are you doing? Garrison Sergeant Major here. I'm sitting here with Eric Collier. We're going to talk about the fire mitigation plan and program here in Alaska. All right, so Eric, welcome to the show. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
So let's have a little quick conversation. I have a couple questions to ask you about fire mitigation here in Alaska. Right?
Okay.
So especially mainly on Fort Wainwright and the interior. So what's so prevalent about the summer months here in Alaska?
Okay, so there's two things. So one is we live north of the Alaskan Range. So we have that moisture buffer that keeps essentially from the Arctic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. As it comes in, it stops. So you notice that the interior is a very arid environment in the summertime. Then you add 22 hours of continuous daylight, and that is why you get a robust fire season. And we're smack dab in the middle of the Borealis Forest, which extends all the way through Canada. So the same issues we have, the Canadians have as well.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. It is crazy. I mean, there is 22 hours of sunlight, right? That's why people's vegetables grow as fast as they do.
That's right.
And as big as they do too. So,
Yes, sir.
So How do we know what the fire weather index is and what that shows?
Okay, so what's very unique, and this is the only location at the DoD training lands that has them, is we have what's known as RAWs, and these are sensors that are located in both the YTA and the DTA training areas, and particularly around ranges that are probably the most heavily used between the Army and the Air Force. As soon as the snowpack is gone, there are, I guess you could say, solar sensors on all of them. And they report back via satellite, and they give us real-time data as to what the fire weather index is for that training location. And so those actually go back to the National Weather Service and the Alaska Fire Service, and they actually predict what the weather model is going to be at 5 p.m. every day.
So what type of effect or impact does that have on the training areas for the soldiers?
So that's a very good question. So we have a regulation that was built after the fire that we had in 2013. And essentially what it breaks down is based off the type of ammunition you're using, there are restrictions from low all the way up to extreme and red flag on what munitions you can deploy without a fire waiver. And so that's why every week we have the fire mitigation community of interest to where units can come in and say, hey, these are the mitigations that we're going to do. We would like to use this munition. And it goes all the way up through the DCS for the approval process.
Wow, that's great. That's great information, and especially important because we do have a large training area, one of the largest the largest in the United States military. So what's important to that is we have to ensure that not only our community understands, our soldiers understand, but us as a mitigation team understand that we plan that accordingly.
And I would say what's very unique about our training lands, outside of the Fort Wainwright cantonment area, because of Alaska's statehood and where and how, I guess you can say, how young of a state we were, what's very unique is our training lands are BLM lands withdrawn for military use. Although we manage them, when we are actually not using our training lands, they're actually out there for recreational use. And so for the recreational user, it's a good thing to look at that fire weather index before you start lighting your campfires.
Yep, definitely. Well, Eric, again, appreciate it. Thank you for coming on to the show and talking a little bit to us about fire mitigation. All right, thank you, Fort Wainwright.
All right, team, welcome back. This is our closing segment. I want to thank the whole team that came in today to provide some wonderful information for the community, to keep you informed and give you opportunities like Seward Military Resort. Again, can't say enough about going down there and visiting that. Our next Arctic Vibe will be for August. Will be at Bassett Army Community Hospital. We'll have Colonel Jimmy Watts there and some other folks that work for him talk about all the exciting things that are happening at his hospital. He's done a lot to innovate there, so I'm excited to join Jimmy for that. As always, get out and do Alaska. That is the theme of when you're stationed here. That's a quote from Colonel Sean Lucas, the commander of 111th Arctic Wolves. Do Alaska. If you want to have fun up here, you have to do it, which means get out, get into the hills, go hike, go hunt, go fish. Obviously do it safely and do it legally, but this is just the most majestic place on earth. We're in the middle of the summer. You can still golf 24 hours a day. As Rick said earlier, get out and enjoy the best golf course in Alaska, and you might argue some of the best greens you see anywhere in the United States. They are immaculate right now. So have a safe rest of your summer. Winter's coming, but enjoy the rest of the summer. Take care.